Welcome to the Short Story Universe. If this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button to keep up with the epic comic book content on this channel.
All right, let's jump right into this. I want you to picture something for a second. Think back to a time when going out to the movies actually felt like this massive, undeniable event. And I mean, it wasn't just the fact that you were sitting in a dark room with a 50-foot screen. The movies themselves literally felt larger than life. The acting pulled you right in, the dialogue was the kind of stuff you and your friends would be quoting for weeks, and the sets, they just felt so vast and real. But honestly, if you walk into a theater today, you might start noticing a pretty weird trend. A lot of these massive, big-budget blockbusters somehow feel strangely small. In fact, they look and feel exactly like those really expensive streaming originals that, for whatever reason, just happen to hit theaters first. So what is actually going on here? Today, we're going to dig into this incredibly common feeling among modern audiences. People who are walking out of theaters and realizing that the blockbuster they just watched is actually something else entirely.
And that brings us to the exact phrase people are tossing around right now to describe these movies. It's just a streamer. Basically, it's shorthand for something playing on your TV that you don't really need to pay full attention to. Think about how crazy that is for a second. We're talking about major theatrical releases, movies built from the ground up for the biggest screens physically possible, and the audience is treating them like background noise. It's literally become the kind of content you throw on while you're folding laundry. So how on earth did we get to a place where we feel this way about massive cinematic productions?
Well, the million-dollar question driving this entire explainer is just this. What happened to the movies? For decades, studios practically treated their theatrical releases like sacred cultural moments. When the lights went down, you knew instantly you were watching something crafted entirely for that specific, grand experience. The visuals popped, the scores were legendary, and the stories actually felt important. To figure out why that event feeling is slipping away, we really need to diagnose the main symptoms of this whole phenomenon. Starting with symptom number 1, fast pacing and forgettable dialogue. If you go back and watch the classics, you'll see directors constantly letting actors just sit and carry an entire multi-minute scene without any interruptions. They commanded your attention with nothing but a great performance and killer dialogue. But today, you rarely see characters having a genuine, drawn-out conversation in a blockbuster. They basically speed-run the plot, crack a super quick joke, and sprint headfirst into the next CGI action sequence. The scenes literally have zero time to breathe. And because of that, way fewer lines actually become iconic. I mean, you can't exactly deliver a legendary, unforgettable quote if your character is just rushing to spit out exposition. That golden era of the highly quotable blockbuster, it's definitely fading. And the end result is that you just don't get that sticky, memorable dialogue that stays with you after you drive home.
Moving right along to symptom number 2, the visual downgrade.
If you look at what audiences are complaining about right now, it's always the same few visual red flags. We're talking muted colors, heavy digital filtering, noticeably darker lighting, and just this shared, desaturated look across the board. Instead of looking like distinct pieces of art, all these films are kind of blending together into a very specific, washed-out aesthetic. Seriously, compare today's releases to the big hits of the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. Back then, films leaned into these incredibly vibrant colors and styles that were totally unique to the director's vision. Now, it's like dozens of different productions are all sharing the exact same gray, blue, desaturated filter. The visual identity of the modern blockbuster has just been completely homogenized into this one super predictable palette.
Which brings us to symptom 3, artificial worlds and safe bets.
Older productions used to actually travel to these breathtaking real-world locations. Or they'd build massive physical sets that felt incredibly real because, well, they were real. Today, we're seeing this massive reliance on green screens and completely virtual environments. And look, the tech is undeniably cool, but audiences aren't stupid. We can totally sense when a massive environment isn't physically in the room with the actors. It just makes these huge, expensive worlds feel surprisingly hollow and artificial.
$200 million. That is the staggering amount of money that studios are routinely dropping on a single project right now. And when you have a number that big on the table, it creates this immense, almost suffocating level of pressure behind the scenes. Because the financial risk is so astronomical, studios are basically forced to make the safest creative decisions possible.
They literally cannot afford to experiment or accidentally alienate a demographic. Older films could afford to take wild narrative swings and really trust the audience to go along for the ride. Today's financial pressures, they just lead to movies that are incredibly polished, but ultimately completely unmemorable.
So what's actually driving all this? Let's talk about the root cause, the economics of streaming.
The streaming boom completely fundamentally rewired the economics of Hollywood. Studios aren't just fighting for your $20 at the box office anymore. They are in a ruthless, all-out war for your monthly subscription fee. These streaming wars have completely altered the DNA of what gets greenlit, because the desperate need to feed these platforms is what's actually driving the creative process now.
This has created a totally new life cycle for a movie. It used to be that step 1, the theatrical release, was the ultimate finish line. But now, the theatrical run often feels like it's just a really expensive marketing campaign for step 2. It exists to build up hype, so that when it finally drops on the streaming app, you already know the name of it.
We're looking at a massive paradigm shift here. A movie is no longer an isolated, standalone cultural event. It's officially become streaming library content. It's no longer a grand night out at the cinema. It's honestly just another digital tile for you to scroll past while you're trying to figure out what to watch on a Tuesday. I want to throw a few questions your way to really get you thinking about who's actually at fault here. First off, have we changed? Are audiences simply consuming media so differently now that it's literally impossible for a movie to feel like an event anymore, no matter how good it actually is?
Or is the problem sitting squarely on the other side of the screen? Did Hollywood just forget what made movies magical to begin with? Did they happily trade away the heart of cinema, the killer dialogue, the popping colors, the real, tangible sets, just to hit their streaming metrics and make production a little more efficient?
And then, there's probably the most provocative theory of the bunch. Are studios literally just putting these movies in theaters for 2 or 3 weeks purely to qualify for an award nomination? It really makes you wonder if some of these films were never even intended to be true grand theatrical events in the first place. They just needed to check a box for the Oscars before going exactly where they were always meant to live. Now, don't get me wrong, there are absolutely still incredible, jaw-dropping movies being made today. But when a $200 million blockbuster feels closer to a made-for-TV original than a true cinematic event, you can totally understand why people are getting fatigued. The next time you sit in the theater and get that weird, sinking feeling that the movie feels just a bit too small, ask yourself, did you just pay for a genuine movie experience, or did you just buy a ticket to a very expensive streaming commercial?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment below. Hit that like button. It helps the channel more than you know. You can help this video go viral by simply sharing it. Subscribe to this comic book channel for more deep dives into original comic book stories and everything in between. Click the bell icon so you'll never miss when a new video drops. You know you totally enjoyed the video, so hype it up. Let's go. Want to support this channel directly? The PayPal link is down in the description and on the homepage. It helps with creating more epic comic book content for this channel. Reminder, a new short story universe video is coming soon. Stay creative, keep imagining, and remember that every story is a short story.